Okay, so let's just start with 3 unified breaths here this morning as we welcome each other into the 7 days of rest and good of the whole global resonance call. And as we're focusing on the 7 days of rest, what I'm experiencing is this incredible restoration, a real feeling of carrying this frequency through the day and carrying each one of you in this global communion. So welcome everyone, and excited to be back again. Today's focus is rest in loving contact. So let's start with connecting with our heart this morning and taking 3 beautiful deep breaths, dropping in deeper and into the deepest layers of our being. And I'm here this morning with June Steiner, who is one of the Good of the Whole Resonance Council beautiful beings, and she's going to open our call. With the beautiful heart resonance opening. So I'm going to pass this beautiful virtual talking stick to you, June.
Well, everybody, just take another nice deep breath and imagine sitting in the middle of your own heart. Because the first contact I want to ask you to move into is that contact with yourself. That deep knowing, deep love, deep connection with your own being, your masculine, your feminine, your deepest values, your belief in why you're here in this world, why you're here in the life you live, and why you're here today, bringing consciousness and awareness to the importance of connecting to oneself and connecting to all others at the same time. I just want you to allow your heart and that part of you that you're connected with to get larger and larger. Just imagine it as becoming as big as that recent full moon we had. Feel the rays moving out from your heart and your being to all other beings here or wherever they may be in this world, outside of this world. Feel the tips of the rays of who you are. Touch the tips of the rays of all others. Feel the warmth. Feel the gratitude to have that contact. Know that that contact is there for you at all times, at any time. It's just waiting for each of us to reach out, extend who we are, and invite who you are into us. And so as we all send out those rays to one another and to all others on this earth and beyond, just breathe in the beauty, the gratitude, the deep healing that takes place when we acknowledge and honor and allow who we are to rest and become clear and become more potent, more powerful in this world, in love. And then giving gratitude, begin to bring your rays back, not keeping them from contact, but just resting quietly within yourself. As loving yourself and healing yourself is the focus as we touch in today with love. And then just slowly come back into the room, bringing with you the beauty of who you are and the willingness and the wanting to connect to others. Oh.
So as we rest in loving contact, we welcome those who just joined us on this 7 days of rest global heart resonance call. Today, our focus being resting in loving contact, which so beautifully June took us into that space of communion. And today we come together, co-creating this unified field of intention with deep listening and really opening to that emergent field as it's moving through us, in contact with us. And the word that came to me was momentum. Movement and momentum. And together we're building this coherent field of our love. And I love that rays just going out and rays coming back. We're building this light grid together, connecting in the sacred space. And just a little bit about good of the whole, that we're simply these mentoring stewards coming together to cultivate this conscious, interconnected global community with the focus of the ethos of wholeness, understanding that we as whole beings come together in this greater field of wholeness, and this field of reciprocity builds. So with that, I'm going to begin every day with the 7 days of rest. There's this beautiful offering. And we'll just continue to grow the space together as I read this. It's so beautiful because it's about trees and rootedness. So rest in loving contact. And in the rootedness, in essence, and in the sensing and all the movement and the listening, a love is birthed. Birthed from the revelations and the harmonies that whisper through the newly opened portals of tender attention. A love that births itself again and again in celebration of a newfound friend, a smile, a tree, a bee, a cloud, a wink of spirit shining through, inspiring us with tender touch, so softly as we step on sacred ground and offer forth that love to share and birth and share again. And I love that tender, heartfelt attention. That's what we're doing here. And for those that are new with us, just will share into the field just some simple guidelines to remember as we're tracking this thread of the emerging unified field of love. So just speak from essence as wholeness to the whole. Our tendency is to notice individually each other, especially with this great, beautiful quilt on Zoom. But to keep the focus to the center of the circle. Inviting less and less crosstalk, just simply speaking to the whole. listening to what's emerging and tracking the thread. There is this growing weaving that's happening, and it is delicious and it's inspiring. Speak to 1 to 2 minutes. You may speak more than once, and allow there to be a pause. It's one of the most powerful moments in this call, to allow that pause, that liminal space of where the field itself, this vast consciousness, this collective consciousness, fills us and informs us. And for those that can visibly see each other, to take that little bit of an extra pause to allow people that are on the phone to unmute themselves. It takes them a little bit longer, so we want to have that consideration. And with that, this opening of heartfelt attention, tapping into the heart, expanding this heartfulness, sensing into the quality of your own experience. What are you noticing? And I love this, loving circulation, allowing this energy, just as our physical bodies have this ongoing circulatory system, we are that here as good of the whole beings on this call. Becoming aware of this sense of loving earth through us and as us. How is this emerging earth consciousness touching you? How is it gesturing you? And feeling this nourishment as we move forth within this call and out beyond this call. And knowing that we are extolling each other, this blessing. And with that, we open the call. Invite you to reach into the center and grab this beautiful virtual talking stick as you feel this inspiration of evolution moving through you. With that, I am complete, home, and fulfilled.
Good morning, my beloveds. Excuse me. This is Linda, and I'm just in a place of love that will not go away. It never has gone away. It's who we are and what we are. And this morning, I was very aware of how different it feels this first week of January in 2018, how different I feel than how I felt in 2017. I feel connected and uplifted, and this has been such a beautiful 7 days of rest. And that rest doesn't mean do nothing. It means, to me, love even more than you ever have before. Loving yourself, loving each other, loving the earth and the waters and the animals. And it's such a beautiful opportunity to know that collectively we are in this field of love that is active, it is circulating, and it's so uplifting and so needed. since I know that love is eternal, it can be expressed however you want to express it, or however it wants to express through you. Is that after these 7 days, we will continue to strengthen this golden weaving, this tapestry that started. It's only the 4th day, and I feel that we have exponentially connected and sent this love out so strongly. In 4 days, imagine 365 days of this feeling of love. It's the truth of who we are. So that's what's coming up for me, and I am complete and whole and home. Namaste.
Those words really touched my heart because I've been working with a dream that, for you on the phone, this is June. Sorry about that. I've been working with this dream about a web and about a mother spider traversing her web to see if all of the strands are connected. And it brought it to my mind as you were speaking about the web, about how important it is for me right now to make sure that all those little places within me that aren't connected or that are having trouble deciding or being who or what they are. Those places where I don't always tell myself the truth or look at the next level of deepness to make a correct healing for myself. And so I'm working with this beautiful picture of a lovely spider's web that's like lace. It's the most beautiful thing. It looks like something that is so precious and is. And so because I've given it that kind of a look, it's almost like the lace of my being, that I'm willing to allow the mother in the beauty in me to find those places where it needs to be brought back together again and healed. So that's what the image I'm working with today, and hopefully for some time to come. So I love every one of you. Thanks.
This is Shanti Hart. Hello, everyone. So after the beautiful attunement that you did in the beginning, June, and I couldn't get out of sitting in my heart. I'm like, oh, I want to be present in the call with everyone, but I don't want to leave. This is so cozy in here. And then right when I thought that, it just expanded like hyper speed, and all of a sudden my heart was gigantically huge, and you were all in there with me in my cozy little heart's room, and you still are, and I love that, and I love all of you. And Linda, when you said, oh, feel this after 4 days, imagine after 365, and I just popped into my head as we are, as the stewards are getting ready for this amazing good of the whole new phase. I thought, daily love letters. We should be writing each other love letters every day and sharing them with one another. And so you you know, I mean, I haven't had many love letters written to me in my life. I'd like to get some. I'm pretty good at writing them to myself, but I'd like to share them with you. So I'm complete.
Good morning. Coming into our hearts, into the presence of and gratitude for this time that we can be together. And as I see new I don't know so well coming up, names, and a telephone that I don't have any idea who that could be, but it's wow, meant to be shared. That's what comes to me. This love, that this light that is who we are, isn't meant to be kept to ourselves. Hmm. Oh my. So much. There's just remembering once, many years ago, 20 years ago maybe, there was a woman who I sat down and talked to and exploring. I guess she was doing a meditation, exploring what do you see in your heart? Whoa, what do I see in my heart? It just was dark. I didn't see anything. I couldn't find it. It was just like the paths were dark. I couldn't. And there is just something miraculous coming about. The light shining in, the calling of the light, that we call the light for each other and for ourselves, as we just open. We open. What is it? Just a call that some of you are on. Also, you'd know, Joseph says, may the kingdom of your heart be big enough to include everyone. And it's just so beautiful. It lightens up as you open, and lightens more as you open to others to share. Okay, here it is. Here we are. May it be so. So this is our connection. This is our being here. I look at, faces, feeling this. We can't take this for granted. This is pretty amazing. This is pretty amazing what's happening. And so rather than going on and on and on, I'm just going to say I'm so grateful for you guys and much love. I'm complete.
Hi, this is Barb. And seeing Julie with her grandbaby being fed just filled me up again. My granddaughter's 10 months old now, and she's my first grandchild. And she just puts more love in my heart than I ever thought was imaginable. And I just hope I can share that all with you guys, because when we get this new love, this newborn love, and learn what they teach us. She teaches me something every day. Every day I see her. I just wish I could share that feeling with you all. And so here it is. Love you all. I'm complete.
Hi, everyone. This is Don. And we are basically evolutionaries, and we learn so much from evolution. We have a new story. Evolution we just learned 150 years ago. We had different stories. In fact, for 3.5 billion years, we had no story whatsoever. It wasn't until we developed language that we developed stories. And now the story we learned is that the very first cell had 3 qualities. The first quality was that it produced energy. It had an energy factory. That made it different from inanimate life. The second quality was that it multiplied and became more sophisticated, from 1 cell to trillions of cells. But the third quality is the one that I think is most interesting here. The third quality is that the cell was endowed by its creator with the need to direct its energy or its love for the next larger complexity that it grew. So as it grew from 1 cell to a group of cells, and now to our most complicated human being, we find evolution tells us that one of the qualities in every cell is that it must contribute its energy for the benefit of the whole system. Isn't that part of our sponsor's idea, that to learn to contribute to the whole? And we find that in evolution, the 3 qualities of the first cell tells us that we need to learn to direct our energy for the benefit of the large whole, the larger system. That's what we are. We are the largest whole with more trillions of cells than just about any other system. And it suggests that part of our responsibility is to learn to love ourselves with the abundance that overflows to enrich the world. You see, it seems to me that the modern version of the golden rule, and I think this is very interesting, is love ourselves with the abundance that overflows to enrich the world. We are energy producing factories, and we have a choice of where to direct that energy. And why not write ourselves a letter regularly with the love so that it overflows and enriches the world? The world would be so much better if we all could make our energy producing factories, make lots of love that we could overflow and share it with others. Now I'm complete.
I'm going to grab this. This is Shelley. I'm going to just weave this thread that's so touching to my heart. Taking this thread of the love letters to our heart, this tender attention that I know I give so much to everyone else, and babies and my grandchildren, and to return that home for the benefit of the whole is something that I'm hearing. And I'll just share this because it's so interesting to me how the universe, the mystery and magic of the universe, because not until I married my second husband, where my last name became Darling. And I didn't think much about it for a while until all of a sudden I had this realization that I never considered myself as Darling. I never called myself Darling. I never called anybody else Darling, and nobody called me Darling. And I feel like this name showed up, and what's happening today in this call is this deeper calling to come in and understand the truth of who we are. yes, write a love letter to ourselves, to take that time. That's what this, for me, the 7 days of rest is all about. It's this, yeah, remembering, but it's this growing realization, creating the momentum of love, of self, of cells. I love that, the cells, that they're here to circulate that benefit of the whole. So I'm just really relishing in this expression that's coming forth today, that's deepening. I'm thanking everyone for being here to help expose this vibrational frequency of light as it expresses it through us and as us. So thank you so much. I'm complete.
This is Shanti Hart. I would like to pop in one more time quickly to follow everything that has started. And just like you were saying about darling, I enjoy it because everybody uses the word beloved all the time. And that's one that never has flowed for me. And it was like, oh, it sounds like, I don't know, Shakespeare or something. But it's perfect. And I am going to start writing myself these love letters, and I'm going to write them to dearly beloved, because it's be loved, just be love. So I love that now. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. This is David. And it's really interesting. When I was growing up, I was always called Dave. And I never knew what it was to love myself. And I knew that the name David meant beloved. And I always rejected that. I said, that's not me. I'm just plain old Dave. And then about 15 or 20 years ago, I realized that I had become beloved to myself. And I was just thinking about like connection, like in order to connect with all you, I have to be connected to myself. I have to be really connected to myself, deeply connected to myself, to have that connection with you. And that's why it's a challenge for me. It's a challenge for me to love myself that way. I mean, even though I had that experience, it's a daily challenge to accept myself the way I am, to love myself just the way I am, without any reservations, without any hesitation, without any comparisons to anybody else. That's my daily challenge. And I feel like that's all of our daily challenges, is to love ourselves enough that we can actually connect with ourselves and then connect with each other. So thank you for this opportunity to love myself and to love you. I'm complete.
This is Don again. I think it's unfortunate that our society tells us that we shouldn't love ourselves when we're young. They say it's self-centered, egotistical, and narcissistic. Just the opposite. It's hard to give away with something we don't own. How can you give away something when you don't own it? So unless we love ourselves with the abundance that overflows, and so often we get the idea that when we love ourselves, we're self-centered. So many people, as a psychiatrist, have told me how hard it is to love themselves because we've been taught so long ago it's egotistical and so on. And while I have just a talking stick for a moment, I just like to put in a plug for hate, the importance of hate. We forget about, if we are energy factories, the energy that's directed to love, whatever we love, we hate what is against love. So we forget that we are full of hate, and it's a very productive use if we use it to hate injustice, intolerance, bigotry. That's the purpose of hate. It's not against people. It's against the things that are against what hurts the people and the things that we love. So love and hate really go together. They're like the two sides of a coin. They're not separated. They're all in one piece of the action. I'm complete.
So I would, I'd like to share something. One of the words that came to mind for me earlier in this sharing and this focus on contact is that contact is creating bridges. And whatever we give our attention to or choose to give our attention to, we are contacting, we are creating bridges. And our voices are part of the creation of the bridges of our connection, our sharing. And also the other piece of that is our listening, and our presence helps to create that bridge, that contact. And also some other words that came to mind for me is that our contact is creating doorways. And our contacts are opening to new possibilities. So in this field that we're creating, that feels a very pristine field, that we're opening to that clear connection that allows for the fullness, for the purity, for that self-lovingness to open, to shine through, to be invited. So I feel complete.
Beloveds, Kate here will pick up that feather just a moment. I think that you get to a point in your life, or at least this single woman did, that no one is ever going to love you the way you want them to. So you need to learn to love yourself. For me, I'm down here helping my mom in Arizona, and so I'm a little bit out of my Black Hills of South Dakota element. So I was out yesterday. Well, I got to spend a little time with Orianne and Marcella, and it was just a beautiful experience. Kind of showed me a few things that I never really did, and I found a little gym yesterday for $10 a month, and so I'm taking this self-care to even higher heights. And when I realized that no one's ever going to love you the way you want them to, I married myself at a tree. So my better half is an elm at Serpent Mound. Anyway, those are just a few reflections I have on the love letters to self. Thank you for listening.
Red Clover, I love you. This is Elizabeth. I just love you. You are everything that I feel I'm not. Like, you're so grounded and loving and like in tune with nature, and like everything that comes out of your mouth, I just like, you're so yourself. And I admire that. And the wish for myself this year is to become more myself. So to become more myself is to love more myself and to be authentic. And that's what you are. I just like, I want to give you a virtual hug. Wow. I just like, I'm amazed by you, and I am complete.
Let's just take a moment to breathe that love that is this unitive wholeness, and to collectively bring our attention to what feels separate, those dimensions of self that just need a little extra love, just need to understand that we as elders are calling ourselves back, all aspects of self here. That's what this circle is all about. And to breathe that in, to receive, to be the receiver of that fountain that was being expressed earlier, that fountain of our own love. Because from that place, there isn't any separation. There's not me or you. There's just us. There's just us. I'm just flashing on the co-creators convergence, where some of us meet every year. And one year we sent up all these heart balloons. We had a fire, and there was a song that was brought forth that really, we began to really taste this expression of us, to move from the me to the we, that place of separation. That's what this Global Heart Resonance call offers. So in this moment, just in the invitation to expand and actually breathe into our back, because that's a part of the lack consciousness where we don't feel supported. So when we take in this breath, we can just kind of really feel that fountain of connection and love going into our backs, into that spinal pranic column. And again, just, for those of us that are seeing each other, there is that tendency to see each piece of the quilt. And yet, the beauty, when that art piece is complete, the beauty of the tapestry, the woven threads are an aspect of the wholeness. So we just breathe that in with gratitude. Just taking that extra moment here this morning just to breathe in that gratitude, to allow that to fill those spaces or dimensions of self that still do feel separate. I love you. I'm here now. Like water, I love you. Water, I thank you. Water, I respect you. We're respecting the waters within. We're loving the waters within. And they flow naturally. And with that, the invitation for this virtual talking stick is still moving. And those of you that you're on the phone, don't forget to unmute yourself and just jump in. So, gratitude. Hello. This is Oriana. So I first want to just presence myself in this moment because I was stirring all of my fingernails. Oriana, you need to come closer to your mic. It's very hard to hear you. Thank you. Okay, got better? You hear me?
So I was carrying all of my fingernail polish stuff to put down, and it slipped, and I have red nail polish on my beige carpet all over. Oh dear. And I was just thinking that my beautiful husband had brought home a small carpet to use in my bathroom, but it didn't quite work there. It'll be perfect here. So I was feeling, what is love to an evolutionary self? As Rumi would write poems to the beloved, what is it that would be so much more love than I can imagine? What would the beloved feel falling in love? What do I feel falling in love? And there is within me the knowing of this falling and being caught. What is that? To be falling in love, allowing being caught. And I am complete.
Hello, everyone. This is Nancy out in California. I see some of you putting your coats on, and I just took mine off because I was too hot. I'm just so happy to be here. And as I see the quilt of faces, it's just so, I don't know, I feel like I belong. I feel like I'm home. I see the reunion. I see new faces, but I see so many faces from many of the different circles. And it's all one, as I call it, the reunion of these, your lights. And I'm so grateful to be part of it, to feel so connected. I love seeing the bridges that we have, the virtual bridges that are going out to each one of us on this quilt. And when I was little, I went to a summer camp every summer. And it was such a joy. It had these same feelings as we are together here. And I remember as I grew up, I said, everything I do, every job I would have or any group I would be, if it feels like that summer camp, then I know that's my barometer. That's the right place to be. And being with all of you is so that the feelings are belonging, feeling of love, feeling of connectedness. Even my particular summer camp had a feeling of what service can we do to the world? And it was all packaged up with acceptance, support, love. And this is how I am when I'm with you. And I thank you all for showing up to the reunion. I'm sending you my love, and I'm complete.
Good morning again. I've been sitting here sort of half chuckling, half really looking deeply into the words of what it means to write a love letter to myself or to anyone else. And what I realized was that every day I hear those love letters in the way I talk to myself. That my self-talk is my own love letter. And if I really pay attention to how I treat myself, how I talk to myself, how I love myself, it's going to come out. My love letter will be very clear, and I get a chance to really rewrite some of those love letters. And there are times when I definitely need to rewrite them because I'm not necessarily supporting myself in the way that I really mean to. And oftentimes I joke, or I hear others joke about themselves in ways that may seem funny, but they're not. They're really an expression of unloved letters. And when I can really feel loved myself by the way I talk to myself, then I notice that I am full of love letters for other people. My words of gratitude and thank you and wow, I just love what the look on your face when you walk into a room, whatever it is, that love letter is so much clearer and stronger when I've been giving myself and listening, literally listening to the words of the love letters inside. So that's what I've been sitting here thinking with today. So again, thank you so much. Much love.
What a beautiful track this has taken this morning. This is Talia again. Oh, and I love it. I love the way we love ourselves and each other. Our oneness comes out, doesn't it? It's, I have a practice that somehow has developed over the years of, I don't know, I guess it started with morning pages that stream of consciousness writing, and but has been developed through ego to essence, speaking to each other, thinking, oh, this is my higher self. Maybe it's my grandmother Talia, but no, I'm talking, it must be my guides and angels or whatever speaking through, and but a higher self maybe. It's but you ask a question and it's like, oh, come on, back on track, better, oh my goodness. And there's such a depth that when I ask, that I'm so grateful for, the love that comes, that presence of, we talk about co-creating, and who are we co-creating with? We co-create this call with each other, and there's also that higher, our guides, angels, and beloveds on the other side of the veil, whatever comes through, our intuition, that energy, that the light, that vertical co-creation that we do is so much, makes this whole thing so much more than just that thing that I may have experienced once, or that somebody has written about. There was a book called Belonging, and I don't know, I think there's that element of part of our evolution is not just, those faces in the squares here that I see, but coming through those is something way more. And that's what that presencing of who we truly are. Yeah, that's who we get to be. That masterpiece that's hiding. Maybe we've covered it up at one point. We're trying to be something that we think we're expected to be or whatever. But there's a masterpiece hiding that behind all that. And I don't know, somebody said the word allow. Oh yeah, Glenn Head. Allow that to come through yesterday. I've been feeling that, allowing. So just allowing that authentic self. That's what it is. Anyway, again, thank you. Gratitude. Love you. I'm complete.
So I'm going to catch this beautiful virtual talking stick today. And as we're coming to another spiral, movement on the spiral, I'm just going to open the call to people that are on the phone that haven't had a chance to say hello, or anyone who hasn't just been able to presence themselves. And please just say hello just for a moment, because we want to honor our time here today. The rest of us just hold space. I'm just going to unmute people on the phones if there's something you want to jump in.
Hello, this is Michael. A lot of good things have been said, and I feel such a sense of community in such a short time. It said in the beginning about, wow, this is only the 4th day. And there's a feeling that we're in a tipping point, and I think our heart's expanding, and keeping that energy growing is the evolutionary step. And I'm pleased to meet and participate and show up with you all. And thank you. Complete.
Woo-hoo.
This is Kundi. I'm honored to be here, and just love, love, love to all you and me. I'm complete.
Beautiful. Thank you. Great way to complete this call. So with this ever expanding permanent smile, we invite you, for those who are just joining us for the first time, to go to Good of the Whole and sign in, so that as we move forward, that you'll stay connected with us, and we'll be continuing this heart resonance call, building the field of this magical momentum. And the way we love to end this call is with a yum. And so everyone, we just wait for a moment while everyone unmutes themselves, unless you have a lot of noise in the background. And start out with this, we just end with this choir rippling this love light out. Yum. Yum.
Yum.
Yum. Thank you.